straight. Nothing is impossible through you. Blind eyes are open. Strongholds are broken. I am living by faith. Shout it out. Nothing is impossible. Come on, let's dance. I'm not gonna live by what I see. I'm not gonna live by what I feel. Come on, sing it. Deep down, I know that you're here with me. I know that you can do anything. Through you, I can do anything. I can do all things, 'cause it's you who gives me strength. Nothing is impossible through you. Blind eyes are open. Strongholds are broken. I am living by faith. Nothing is impossible. I'm not gonna live by what I see. I'm not gonna live by what I feel. Deep down, I know that you're here with me. I know that you can do anything. Yeah. Through you, I can do anything. I can do all things, 'cause it's you who gives me strength. Nothing is impossible through you. Blind eyes are open. Strongholds are broken. I am living by faith. Nothing is impossible. Sing. I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe in you. I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe in you. I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe in you. I believe, I believe. Hey. I believe, I believe in you.
I can do anything. I can do all things, 'cause it's you who gives me strength.
Nothing is impossible through you. Blind eyes are open. Strongholds are broken. I am living by faith. Nothing is impossible. I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe in you. I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe in you.
All right, hey one kids, we are back with your favorite TV series, right? Are we a series? This is great.
We are.
We are here every week, so yes, I hope you join us every week because we have some really fun things. Last week we had Miss Donnie talk about emotions. It was great. And this week, guess what? We have her again. She's got another great message for you. But before we get started, Donnie, I have a challenge for you.
Okay. We love challenges.
Well, I hope you like this one because in this challenge, it involves whipped cream in a pie bowl and some cups. We're gonna play a game. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna mix the cups around, and then you're gonna pick a number, and whatever number it is, that's the cup you get. If under the cup is little letter P for pie, I don't know, but I think we're gonna have to pie Donnie in the face.
So.
Are y'all ready? Okay, here we go. This is gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. Are you nervous? I'm nervous
No,
for
it's
her.
gonna be
Okay.
great. We love challenges.
Wow,
Love
she's
them.
such a trooper. Okay, we're twisting these things around.
Close my eyes.
Close your eyes. So it doesn't matter because whatever paper you get,
It's true.
that's the cup you're gonna have,
very
right?
true.
So,
Very true.
all right, this is it.
Here we go.
This is what's gonna dictate what's gonna happen.
Moment of truth. Y'all ready for this?
Ooh.
Number 3.
3. Okay, here we go.
Ready?
Ooh.
1, 2, 3.
Oh. Okay,
Empty.
try it again. Try it
Empty,
again.
empty. All right.
You got lucky.
I did. Shuffle them again.
Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Oh, don't look.
I'm not. Keep my
Okay.
eyes closed.
All right, Donnie,
Okay.
Donnie. Pick another one.
Here we go. See if I'm this lucky again. Number 3 again.
Oh, what is it?
Oh!
Donnie?
Lucky.
She's getting super lucky.
Very lucky. Shake up our number
All
pile.
right, here we go.
Okay. Here we go. Go ahead. Shake them up a little bit. Here we go. Ready? Number 2.
2.
Number. Whoa. Empty
Donnie!
again.
You're so lucky. Okay,
My
ready?
face does not want to be pied.
She's not looking, y'all.
Not looking.
Okay.
So when it pops out, I can't see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, go ahead.
I feel like she was just telling y'all where that letter P is. Wasn't she? Number 1.
All right, let's see.
And there it is! Wow!
The letter P! Oh, I'm so nervous.
You know what that means?
Are you sure? Yes. Donnie,
She
here
goes.
comes the pie. Can you count with me? 1, 2, 3. Wow, she's such a trooper! Good job. You did so good.
Thank
Kids,
you.
don't try this at home because your
Don't do it.
parents are not going to be happy if you get whipped cream all over. But maybe ask them and they can join you and maybe you can pie them.
But
they can pie you.
It's delicious.
It tastes yummy.
Very good.
All right, well, it's time as Donnie continues to eat her whipped cream. Take your notes out, get your
Yes.
pens, your pencils, your crayons, and get ready for what God is going to say to you today. See you later, One Kids.
Hey, One Kids! I am so excited to be here with you today. Last week, we talked about emotions. We were in part 1 of that series. Today, we're going to be in part 2 of that series. So last week, we talked about being vulnerable. We talked about taking God's peace, just all of the good things we can do when we have emotions, right? But we don't let them control us. So that's what we learned last week. This week, in part 2, we're going to be talking about making good decisions. Do you know what decision means? Making a good decision? It means making good choices. So sometimes when we have all kinds of emotions, we can make lots of different choices, right? We can choose to maybe do good things, or we can choose to do not so great things. So we're going to be talking about how to make good decisions today. Have you ever had emotions before? Have you ever felt like mad or upset or frustrated? I know I have. When I was a kid, I had a really hard time with math. It was not my thing. I didn't understand it. It was super hard. It made me really emotional. I would sit at the table doing my homework and I would just cry. Like, I did not understand it. How many of you get me? You feel me? You're like, math is not my thing. Miss Donnie, I understand what you're saying, 100%. So my mom would tell me, what are the things that you're saying about yourself? Because I would sit doing my homework, right, and I was frustrated, and I would say things like, I can't do this, it's too hard, I can't learn this, I'm not smart. Like, I just said lots of things about myself that were not great. They weren't positive, right? It was what I was feeling, but I was saying them out loud. And my mom told me, she said, Donnie, if you will change what you're saying and start saying good, positive things about yourself, it's going to change the way that you're learning your math and the way that you're doing your homework. And I didn't believe her. I thought, yeah, right, there is no way. I don't believe you, Mom. But you know what happened? I started changing the things that I was saying. When I was frustrated, I would say, God, I can do this. I'm smart. I can learn. I can remember this. I got this. And the more I started saying those things, it started changing the way I was learning. Isn't that amazing? I didn't believe my mom, but it was true. So when I started saying those good things about myself, it started changing my whole life. And that goes into this first point that we're going to talk about today. we're going to talk about being positive. And just like my mom was telling me to change the negative things I was saying to start saying the good things, that's what being positive means. It means that we're going to say good things about ourselves. We're going to speak life over ourselves instead of those other things I was saying that were not bringing me life. They were making things harder and keeping me in a place where I wasn't learning. When we're being positive, it's going to change everything. It's going to change your thoughts. It's going to change your emotions and the way you feel. And it's going to start to shape your life. Kind of like this. Y'all see this? Y'all know what this is. This is Play-Doh. And this right now is in the shape of a heart, right? Play-Doh is the best. You can shape it, you can mold it, you can make it into really anything that you want, right? And I can change it from a heart into, it's kind of wonky, but there's a circle, a ball. You can change it into like a cube, like this. You know, like you can roll it, turn it into something fun like that. The possibilities are endless, right? When you're playing with Play-Doh, you can create and make it whatever you want. And did you know when you're positive, this is like what you're doing to your mind and to your heart on the inside. It's molding and it's shaping you, and it's shaping you in the direction of positive things. And you have the power to do that with Jesus, which is pretty amazing. So that's point number one. We're going to be positive. All right. Number two, I can choose my emotions. Did you know that you have the power? Say, I have the power. You have the power. You can change what you're feeling on the inside. You can change, when you're upset, it doesn't mean that you have to hurt somebody's feelings or say something mean or act out in a way where you're frustrated, right? You can choose, and it's actually pretty easy. Sometimes we make it really complicated, like, oh, I'm just so mad, or man, my friend did this thing and they made me so angry. But do you know what that's doing? That's giving somebody else the power. And the truth is, you have the power. So just because you feel something doesn't mean you have to act out on it, and doesn't mean it has to stay. So you can decide and choose your emotions. So kind of like these. Remember we talked about these last week? These are so much fun. So we've got sad one. We've got this guy. He's so angry. He's frustrated. This one is in love, right? She's like, woo. This one is laughing, having a great time. This one's happy. And did you know your emotions are just like that? How easy it is for me to pick this up and switch it out and change it. That is how easily you can change your mind, and you can choose different emotions. You can choose how you're going to act, right? So number two was that we can choose our emotions. So you all ready? Here's number three. Just because, I do want to say this, just because you have an emotion doesn't mean it has to stay, right? Just like we can switch it out with these faces, just because you feel an emotion, you can decide that it's not going to stay. Because remember, you have the power. So if you have something that's on the inside of your heart that's not good, you can decide if that's going to stay there, if that emotion is going to stay on your face, right? I had a teacher that used to say, fix your face if you would make a crazy face, but that you can decide. And so just because it's in there doesn't mean it has to stay. You can decide to pull it out and to change it. Are y'all ready for number three? Here's number three. Don't let your emotions make decisions. So do you know what that means? That means kind of like what I just touched on a second ago. Just because you're feeling angry doesn't mean you have to act angry just towards someone or do something that's going to hurt their feelings. We don't want to make decisions when we're upset, right? So sometimes we'll just say something that's really mean and you think, oh man, I shouldn't have said that. I wish I didn't do that. I hurt my friend's feelings. I said something really mean to them. So we don't want to let our emotions make those decisions, right? So here is some things maybe that could happen that would make you emotional, right? Maybe someone says something that hurts your feelings. Maybe your sibling takes something that's yours and then they lose it or they break it. Is that the worst? Like, don't just take my stuff, but then you lose it or you break it. That's like another level. It makes you super upset. What about when you get in trouble for doing something? That causes a lot of emotions. When you get mad or you feel sad, but we don't want to say or do something just in the heat of the moment, right? That means when you're flashed with anger really quick or when something makes you super sad, we don't want to make decisions right in that moment, right? We can take the time, and it's super important to do this, to slow down, take a deep breath, to bring yourself back to center, to just calm down, to not be crazy. You don't have to be crazy. You can slow down and you can make those choices, right? So we don't want to say something that's going to hurt somebody's feelings or that's going to hurt somebody. We don't want to do that. So we're going to take time to slow down. If you need to walk away, walk away. You don't have to respond right in that moment, right? So just because you're feeling something doesn't mean you have to say something. You can take a minute, walk away, come back. So for me, there's some things that help me if I get emotional or I get upset. Sometimes for me, I do really good if I can just get by myself and I can just think for a minute and, like I said, calm down, take a deep breath. That really helps me. Listening to music really calms me down and helps me. I love being outside. How many of you love to be outside? I love it. So going for a walk or maybe swimming or doing something outside. So it's so important you find those things and just take the time, just to calm down, just to let yourself relax. It's not a big deal. We don't have to respond in the moment, right? So we're not going to let our emotions make those decisions. So we want to always pause and think about what we're doing before we do something, right? Because you don't want to say something and then regret it. Because how many of you know it's really hard once you say something or you do something, you can't just go, pull it back in, right? Once you've said it, it's out there. And so we want to always just take the time to slow down and not do things we're going to regret. So that's what I have for you today. I hope you learned something. I hope you have loved this series and that you've learned how to have your emotions like we talked about last week in part 1 and talk about them and be vulnerable, and that this week we've learned how to make good decisions. So I hope you've learned something. We are going to pray together before we close out. Jesus, I thank you so much for each and every student that is watching online or watching this in a classroom. I thank you that as we've been in this series about emotions, that you have been speaking to hearts and minds, and that their ears have been open, that their spirits have been open to what you have to say to them. I thank you that they're going to continue to be vulnerable and share what's going on in their hearts and on the inside, that they're not going to be afraid to share those things, but that after that, they're going to work through those things, that they're going to remember to make good decisions. They're going to remember that your peace is a gift, and that no matter what's going on around them in their world, that they have peace on the inside, peace that stays forever because you're with them. Thank you that they're going to take the time to slow down and to make those good decisions when they're upset. I thank you, God, that you're with them everywhere that they go. In Jesus' name, amen.